Hey there guys, now this is not a prediction video or anything like that. I actually already have a prediction video up for this fight for when it was first set. I wanted to talk a little bit more about this upcoming heavyweight title fight between Joseph Parker and Hughie Fury. Now, I've already spoken a couple of videos about how I didn't want this fight to happen, and there are several reasons why I don't want this fight to happen. And now that the fight has been rescheduled, and it's going to be taking place in the UK, I even more don't want this fight to happen because, in my opinion, it's a complete travesty. I don't like Hughie Fury. I don't like the way he boxes, don't like his style, don't like his attitude, don't like anything about the guy. I think he's one of these typical gypsy fighters that, just hardly ever fights, talks a lot of shit, and, is getting opportunities that he doesn't deserve. I mean, the fact that the WBO have him as the mandatory for their title after over a year out of the ring is damn right scandalous. It just reeks of corruption. Tyson Fury and Hughie Fury are obviously, they're promoted by Mick Hennessy. However, Mick Hennessy is in collaboration with Frank Warren, so obviously with Frank Warren having such a high influence over the WBO, he's able to get both of those guys into a ranked position. Now, I just think it's scandalous. Hughie Fury, in my opinion, hasn't done anything to warrant a title shot. And not only that, but the fact that he's getting home advantage, the fact that Frank Warren is probably going to have the judges in his pocket, it's just a joke, man. And I hope to God, in fact, I really hope that Joseph Parker knocks Hughie Fury out. But I can't see it because Hughie Fury is one of these guys who's extremely negative. He's boring. He just stinks the joint out and runs away. That's what he'll be doing in the fight. He'll be running away. He'll be just jabbing constantly and moving, not engaging in the fight at all because he knows that with home advantage, he'll get the decision. Now, when the first fight was set to happen in New Zealand, I and quite a few other people suggested that Hughie Fury was, he was trying to get the location of the fight changed. I mean, Peter Fury, up until 2 weeks before the fight was supposed to happen, was trying to get the location of the fight changed. They were trying to get the fight in the UK, even though Ducko Promotions, who at the time were Joseph Parker's promoters, they won the purse bid and won the rights to have the fight in New Zealand. But even still, Team Fury and Frank Warren were trying everything they could to get the fight in the UK. So it was clear that they had no intention of ever going over to New Zealand, even though the fight was signed. So yeah, it just sucks that they've got their own way. I know I sound like I'm hating on Hughie Fury, and fuck it, I am. I don't like the guy. I don't like that family, that community of fighters that he comes from. They're just a bunch of pricks. You've got Billy Joe Saunders in amongst them. Those guys, to me, they're just foul people. They really are when it comes to boxing. I mean, they don't treat the sport with any respect. Like I said, they hardly ever fight. When they do fight, they're extremely boring. They run away and they look to steal decisions, and they're just not my kind of people. I don't support those kind of fighters. I don't like that kind of mentality. I prefer guys who are going to come to fight, who are going to engage in the fight. I like guys who are going to take the initiative, at least try and entertain the fans. I don't like guys that just run and complain and just fucking try and exploit their way through the sport, and that's what these Furies are doing. So, what I would suggest to Joseph Parker is if there's a way to get out of this fight, do it. Don't fight Hughie Fury, okay? There's no, I mean, I know he's a mandatory challenger and whatnot, but I'm sure there are ways around that. I mean, could you not pull out of the fight like he did the first time, messing Joseph Parker and his promoters around? I mean, Joseph Parker's previous promoters, Ducko Promotions, I don't even think they're in the business anymore because of that fight. Because whatever happened there must have damaged them financially. So they're not even working with Joseph Parker anymore. They've moved on from the sport, I think. So Joseph Parker's having to give ground and fight Hughie Fury in the UK, even though Hughie Fury isn't even a name here. Okay, he doesn't draw crowds at all. It's just a real shame. It really is, and I hope the fight doesn't happen. I hope that I know Hughie Fury's got a tune-up fight set. Then I believe he's set to fight Joseph Parker after that. I don't know exactly what the date is, but I hope that Joseph Parker doesn't go along with it. Try and get a unification with Deontay Wilder. Why not? I mean, a Deontay Wilder fight, obviously, there's a lot more to gain by beating Deontay Wilder than there is beating Hughie Fury, or try and get maybe an Anthony Joshua fight. I think a unification, a unification fight would allow him to get out of his mandatory obligations. I don't know. I don't know the situation like that, but just I hope that he doesn't go through with this Hughie Fury fight, because it's just it'll be horrible to see another one of these Gibbs me dat gypsies picking up a title, then complaining about how nobody respects them and nobody gives them the credit they deserve, while spending the next year after winning the title doing nothing, just talking shit about everybody, about how you would beat Anthony Joshua, you would beat Wilder, you would beat this guy, that guy, but not actually getting in the ring with these people, like Tyson Fury's doing right now. He won the title off Klitschko, and it was one of the worst things that could have happened to boxing, because he gave up all the belts, he sat around doing nothing, while criticising everybody else and running his mouth and just being a bitch. And I don't like that kind of mentality. It's not good for boxing. Okay, I like guys to be humble and actually prove themselves and stay active. And I think Joseph Parker, although I'm not a big fan of Joseph Parker, I like that he's active. I like that he is fairly entertaining to watch at the best of times. He stays busy. He fights regularly. I mean, last year, he fought about 4 or 5 times. So, clearly he's a guy who's dedicated to the sport. Hughie Fury is not dedicated to the sport, so I don't want to see him become a world champion. Hopefully, if the fight does go ahead, hopefully Joseph Parker knocks Hughie Fury the fuck out, because if he doesn't, he won't win. I'm telling you, Frank Warren will have those fucking scorecards fixed. Here in the UK, boxing is probably almost as bad as it is in America in terms of corruption. If the fight was in New Zealand, it would have been fine. It would have been fair, and Parker would have had an opportunity to win a decision, even if it was close. But in the UK, I can't see it. I can see Hughie Fury stealing the decision, and I really would hate to see that, because I've already explained why. So hopefully Joseph Parker finds a way out of this fight. If he doesn't, then it is what it is. Hopefully he wins the fight. But it's just a stupid situation that we have at heavyweight. I mean, there's no reason why people like Hughie Fury should be fighting for world title when you've got legitimate contenders out there. I mean, Alexander Povetkin's back in the mix now. He won a regional WBO title, so I would much rather see him get a title shot than Hughie Fury. I mean, I know that he's only just got back into the rankings, but I mean, he's been busy over the last couple of years. He's fought nothing but top 10 contenders. Okay, he beat Mike Perez. He beat Marius Wack. He beat in his last fight Andrei Rudenko, who also fought and lost to Hughie Fury. Except Povetkin did a far better job on him than Hughie Fury did. A far more dominant performance. He also beat who was the other guy he beat recently? He defeated Manuel Charr, who was a former title challenger too. So clearly Povetkin is a much more commendable contender and a much better challenger for a title than, or at least a much more worthy challenger than Hughie Fury, because he's earned a shot, even if he has only just reached his way back into the rankings. So yeah, I would much rather see that fight. I would love to see Povetkin fight Joseph Parker. That would be a great fight. But Hughie Fury, no fight he's ever involved in is ever going to be entertaining. Okay, he's not that kind of person. He's not. Those people are boring. The way they fight, that whole community. Billy Joe Saunders, Tyson Fury, Hughie Fury. They're boring fighters. They fight boring styles. They remind me of Guillermo Rigondeaux in the ring. It's just the way they fight. They're just trash. So yeah, I hope that Joseph Parker knocks Hughie Fury out if he takes the fight. I don't know. Let's see what happens anyway. Who's to know? Because Hughie himself might even pull out of the fight. That's what them lot do. Okay, they mess people around. They'll pull out of fights last minute and shit, and they just troll their way through boxing. That's what they do. So let me know what you guys think anyway, and thanks for watching.